Chapter 10. I don't like Danny Reinhardt. I don't like his smile. I don't like his voice. I don't like the fact that he's so smart and so fast and so good at jiu-jitsu. I don't like his face. I don't like him. And today made that perfectly clear. We had to train together again today. I was hoping to get him in another loop choke, so I didn't mind too much when he took me down. I immediately grabbed the collar of his gi again and began setting up the choke. He leaned into me and started to pass my guard. I was just about to reach with my other hand to catch him in the choke when he swam his head under my arm and got his neck completely free. That was okay, because he was thrown off balance. I grabbed his arm that was bracing him from falling over and swept him so that I was now on top. It was a great sweep, but Danny managed to get me in his guard, so I started to work on getting past his guard. But that wasn't easy with Danny. He was strong and really good at messing with my balance. He pulled me in, pushed me back, pulled me in, then pushed me back again. I had no control. Then he almost swept me, but I stuck out my arm to stop from falling over. When I did that, he made some really strange movements. His hips moved, then he grabbed my head and pushed it. Then he scooted to the side while reaching for the belt of my gi. I had no idea what was happening. Then, all of a sudden, I was curled up in a ball with one arm intertwined with Danny's legs. That would have been bad, but things got worse. Danny moved in more strange ways, but I could barely move at all. I didn't get it until I felt pressure increasing on my shoulder. I tried to resist, but I couldn't. Danny's legs were wrapped tight around my arm, and I was stuck. I didn't want to tap to this because it didn't even seem like a real move. Danny slowly shifted his weight further and further forwards, twisting my shoulders more. I tried one more time to get my arm out of this lock, but it wouldn't budge. But I didn't want to tap. So instead of tapping, I yelled, "Ah!" as if my shoulder had been hurt. Danny immediately let go. I grabbed my shoulder and pretended it was hurt. I wasn't sure why I did that. I just knew that I didn't want to tap, and acting like I was hurt was the only way I could think of not tapping. "I'm sorry," Danny said. "Are you okay?" "I think so," I said, rubbing my shoulder like it was hurt. My arm just got caught in a weird position and I couldn't move it anymore. "Oh yeah, that move is called an omoplata," Danny said, nodding his head. "What?" "Yeah, that's a move. I learned it at my old school. It's called an omoplata. That means shoulder blade in Portuguese, the language they speak in Brazil." Then I heard Coach Adam from the side of the mat. He was standing next to Uncle Jake. "Are you okay, Mark?" asked Coach Adam. "I think so. My arm just got caught up in a weird spot." I said, still trying to cover up the fact that Danny had tapped me out with such a weird move. "No," Coach Adam responded. "Your arm got caught in an omoplata." "Nice work, Danny." Great. Now, even Coach Adam thought Danny was so cool. "Do you want me to show it to you? It really isn't that hard once you get the hang of it." Now, Danny was trying to be my instructor. "No, thanks. My shoulder kind of hurts," I said as I rubbed my shoulder some more. "I'm really sorry about that, Mark. I was expecting you to tap out, and then all of a sudden, you just yelled out in pain," Danny said, looking very concerned for me, almost like he was my mom. This was ridiculous. "It's fine," I told him. "I'll be just fine." I slowly got up off the mat, being very careful with my shoulder, holding my arm close to my chest like I could barely keep it up. "Let's go. We'll get some ice cream when we get home," Uncle Jake said. "Okay, thanks, Uncle Jake," I replied. I said goodbye to Coach Adam and the rest of the people in class and headed for the door, still nursing my arm very carefully. As we walked down the stairs, out the door and over to where our car was parked, I started thinking about what was going on, and I didn't feel very good about it at all. This was a lie. I was pretending to be hurt. I started thinking about how bad that would make Danny feel. I started to think about the jiu-jitsu team and how much I was letting them down by not being at practices and not training with them because of my fake hurt arm. Just as we got to the car, Uncle Jake stopped walking. I took a few more steps toward the car, but then turned around to see what he was doing. He was just standing there looking at me. Then, without warning, he threw the car keys at me pretty hard and yelled, "Catch!" Without thinking, I reflexively reached above my head and caught the keys. Uncle Jake stood there looking at me as I stood there with my hand over my head, the keys in my grip. Uncle Jake looked at me, then looked at my hand, then back at me, then back in my hand again. I didn't have any idea why he was looking at me so strangely. Then it hit me. I had caught the keys in the hand with my bad shoulder. Just as I started to lower it, Uncle Jake said, "You aren't even hurt, are you, Mark?" in the most direct possible way. It actually scared me, and he was right. My arm was fine. But there was another part of me that was hurt, and now I felt completely awful. What kind of kid pretends to get hurt to avoid tapping out? How could I have done that? "I'm sorry, Uncle Jake," I told him. "Sorry?" Uncle Jake asked with a disappointed look on his face. "Just get in the car." "Yes, Uncle Jake," I said. I felt miserable, and it was all because of Danny Reinhardt.